Hello, hello, hello. Okay, just checking if everything is working. Everything seems to be working. Okay, yeah, good. So, okay, for the first time in a very long time, I started both stream together. So I am also streaming on YouTube right now. Okay, just need to see if everything's okay. Everything's working. I think everything's okay. Everything's working. Okay. So, hello, good night. Good night. Good evening. How are everyone? Hello, Sejum. Hello, good night. Good night. Good evening. Okay. So, yes, everything's working. Everything's fixed. All right. So, okay. First things. Let's just talk a little bit. Well, today was a busy day, huh? For VTuber. We had, I believe I am the 4th person in VTuber doing a live stream today. Because we had earlier, Z had a live stream on, I believe, how to kill a galaxy, something like that. Then there was Pi on his celebration of the 100,000, 100? Yeah, 100k subs in YouTube as well. After that, we had Mylin with a colleague of hers, I believe. Yeah, I've got to confess, I haven't had the time to see that one. But yeah, and now my presentation on the peer review. So yeah, a busy day for VTuber. Okay. I'm gonna switch this music. Yes, there's. Thank you very much. I always have a bit of a trouble with pronouns in English. I have to be a bit more used to it. Okay. So, first things, I'd like to make my warnings on how this works. I always do this on Twitch. Now I'm doing this on YouTube as well. So, how this works, this is a live stream that is focused on a specific topic of science. This time around, we are talking about peer reviewing. I'm gonna lower a bit the music. But how this works is as following. I do these presentations once a week on my YouTube and Twitch channel. Presenting a topic in science. And the scope of this is to present a general topic in science as well. So I always do this. I always do these warnings in the beginning because I am a Brazilian VTuber. So I make most content in Brazilian Portuguese. But for these videos, these live streams, I do them in English as well. But I try to disponibilize a VOD after with Brazilian subtitles. So this video is gonna be, this live stream is gonna be posted on my YouTube as well. But the VOD, I will take it and I will edit it out to get the subtitles in Brazilian Portuguese as well. Yeah. That's pretty much my warnings for how this all works. Let me get this and then over here. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin. And also I have a little bit of background music, but if it is too loud or if it is getting in the way of the presentation, please let me know because I can lower it down or even close it if necessary. But okay, let's go. So, heyo, I am Doctor Ekelus, the first Brazilian Scientist VTuber, and today we are talking about peer review. So this. Okay, let me get that YouTube chat as well. Okay. So, let's go. This topic might be a bit boring on paper, pun intended. However, it is a very important part of science, of what we do in science, right? So, as always, questions are welcome the entire live stream. If you drop it in the chat, I will pick some up as we go. But okay, let's go. So, what is peer review? What does it mean? So, peer review. Right, I'll take some headache. Okay, get better. So, peer review, the simple term of it, is the practice of having independent experts in the same field, so peers, analyze a piece of research before it is trusted, published, or even acted upon. So the important thing is that the peers in this process that are reviewing are people with comparable or maybe more experience in a specific topic than you. And the review made by them is more on the critical level. The critical means of examination of the methodology, the logic, the statistics, the data, whether the conclusions the authors are drawing are actually supported by the data they collected, and it's all done to minimize biases, because not all biases can be exterminated this way, but they are reduced to a minimum. So peer review also does not certify that a finding is exactly true, because what is definitively true is a bit of a roller coaster, but it certifies that, as far as few qualified people could tell, the study was designed competently enough and analyzed it honestly enough to be worth the scientific community's attention and some further discussions as well in science. But why do we even bother on doing that? So, there are a few reasons, and one of them is the quality gate. Because before any claim officially enters the scientific literature, someone with expertise has to look at it and be convinced the methodologies can actually support the conclusions being drawn. So without that, the literature would fill up with a lot of noise, and would be annoyed so fast that actually good science would be hard to distinguish between that noise. And this is considering we also have millions of articles per year. So this right here is research on the strength of scientific publishing from those authors. And this is the total of articles per year by publisher. So we have Elsevier, MDPI, Springer, Wiley, Frontiers, etc, etc. And here you can see that the total number of articles per year. For example, in 2022, it was already reaching the mark of 500k. So yeah, it's a lot per year. Yeah, but also the reviewing process it also keeps careers and keeps funding as well, because whether a researcher gets hired, promoted, funded for the next project, it also depends on the record of peer-reviewed publications they have, which creates some real incentives for you to have more peer-reviewed papers or articles. Well, that creates some good incentives, but it also can generate some bad ones, because you also have the issue. We're gonna talk about it a little bit, but you have the issue of making too much articles with poor quality. So the quantity over quality aspect of it. And then also you have the chasing of flashy and publishable results over something that is more careful made, or something that can be a bit boring, that may have a bit more quality on the paper aspect of it. I'm gonna switch the music again. Not really a big fan of this music. Okay, this one is a bit better. Elsevier added again. Elsevier added again. Well, it's one of the major ones, so yeah, obviously it would have a lot of articles per year. Okay. Okay, whatever. Oh yeah, the article also being peer-reviewed can normally stand for this article can be a bit more trusted than an article that wouldn't have the peer-reviewed process. But during COVID, we have seen that phrase get a little bit weaponized because it could and it was either used to dismiss preprints that later on turned out to be correct, and also defended peer-reviewed articles that later turned out to be a little bit flawed. It happens. It happens. So, a little bit on the history, on how did we get here? How did the peer review process find itself? So, the first step toward formal systemization, it appears first in 1752 with there's no S in 1752. There we go. 1752 with the Royal Society of London. So yeah, it began in England. When moving from one editor informal judgment to a more collective institutional review. So they made a committee of papers, so a bunch of persons that would read, and in this case it was reading the abstract of the article. They would read the abstract of the article and judge if it was interesting enough. So if it was solid enough as an article. And then from 1832 onward, the Royal Society began to commission independently writers from individual referees. So no more a specific group of people, would be more individualized. Okay. And they had to also write something. Damn the English, God of I can't write an article saying that this guy yes, yeah. Yeah, well, there are a few more reasons, but yeah, damn the Englishman. Okay. So, next one we had in 1946 when the NIH, the National Institutes of Health in the United States, created what it was called as scientific review groups. Okay. And those are panels outside of expert scientists who peer-reviewed and grant applications to decide who gets to get research funding. So then it began the money, a bit more money for research funding. And still to this day, I believe the NIH also does funding in a lot of categories and a lot of science projects as well. We have then in 1973 when the Nature formalized external peer review as a requirement for publication. So before this, many magazines hadn't really done the peer review as an requirement for publishing. But then you had this, and yeah, people began to use peer review as a requirement for publishing in some articles. In some, especially when you have those publishers like Elsevier, MDAPI, when you have a bit more of a serious magazine or a serious publisher, you have to have the peer review process. Okay. And then from the 1990s, where the bloom of the internet began, so a lot of journals got digital and the submissions volume exploded because everyone could write an article and send the article via email. So the system had to scale up a bit and to handle the enormous flood of papers. One thing that is worth considering, though, in my opinion at least, is that a lot of scientists from this period of time, they really didn't do much review processes, right? So many scientists that are more famous, they could have gone without the peer review process. Obviously, People later found their articles and read and discussed about it, but for them to publish their findings, they didn't have to meet peer reviews and send articles to the peer reviews to be made. Okay, and so to the road of the paper. So where does the article go? So when a researcher submits a paper, well, the first step is the submission. Then it gets to the desk screening. So an editor and an academic checks the paper for if it fits the journal, if it fits the thematic of the journal. So it is a kind of basic quality bar to meet. But well, with so many specific journals nowadays, this isn't really much of an issue because there are many different journals for many different topics. Okay. And then you have the step 3. So the actual review. The editors send the manuscript outside for experts in the specific subfield. And side note, there is an interesting thing. Reviewers, they don't really get paid for the reviews normally. So it's considered like part of the job while you are an active researcher. So yeah, you gain nothing from that. Well, apart from knowledge, maybe, but yeah, you don't get any monetary gain for reviewing. Okay. There are some projects that want to make peer reviewing be monetized. Like you can earn money by doing peer review, but you can also get in the trouble of, well, if you pay more, you're gonna get higher review with the means of being, you know, people letting things slide because money. But yeah, so it's quite of an issue. But anyways. And then after the review, the article goes back to the authors, and they have to make some alterations. Decide if they're gonna make alterations or not. Okay. Higher ratings. It's not exactly ratings, because when you review an article, you don't really give grades to the article. You make points on what things could be better, or you think, or the reviewer think that does not really fit, but you don't really make you don't really grade it, you know. You don't give it a 10 out of 10 article, for example. But if money was involved, I can quite imagine that people would be willing to pay to get more not so harsh things being said on their articles, you know. Because there's the thing, when you submit the manuscript to a journal, you can suggest possible reviewers. However, it is normally within the journal to accept or tell to which reviewers that article is going. But you can recommend. Okay. Yeah, but in this, the review, after the review process, the article goes back to the authors, and they have to decide if they are gonna change something or keep it as is. And that takes some time, because you can imagine this process right here is quite a bit daunting, because, oh, I don't agree with that. Send back. The reviewer goes again. Yeah, you don't agree with that, but I now found this. So you have to change this. And now you go back and say, okay, I'm gonna change it. Oh, no, I'm not gonna change that. So I send it back, another review, and etc, etc. Yeah, it can take quite a while. So, how much long can it take? It can take... The timeline for all of this, it varies a lot, but anywhere for a few weeks, maybe, if you have luck. They must have... Yes, they do. I'm gonna talk about it in a bit. About how much articles we have reviews. Yeah. And you have to think it's a voluntary job, so there's also that. Just gonna drink some water. Okay. Yeah, but then after the decision, when the paper is shining almost, when you see no more issues whatsoever, when the reviewers see no issue, then you go to the publish thing. And you have the publication, the paper goes through the final revision, some typesetting, and joins the journal. What qualifications do you need to be a reviewer? You need to be on a specific field. So you had to be a scientist in the general term. So you have to be at least on graduation, and normally you would need to be a teacher in a university. Because in a university, as a teacher in the university, you also need to make articles. You also need to provide papers and make more papers. And the process of making papers also entails that you would be needed to review some papers from other people. Not all professionals do this, but yeah. And also you can subscribe yourself to be a reviewer, to be a volunteer reviewer in those journals. In the journals, or even in there are some public websites where you can be a reviewer as well, but they will need to know what is your academic formation and everything else. But generally, I would say minimum is graduation, minimum level. Recommended, I would suggest a master's degree. I don't think you need to be a doctor, full-fledged doctor, PhD to do reviewing. It's not really necessary. Ding. Gotcha. So yeah, there are also many different types of reviews. Let me see if I can approach this a little bit. Yeah, that should be enough. So there are also different formats of peer reviewing, and each try to find a different sweet spot for weakness, so pros and cons. But yeah, they are different, and they all have pros and cons. I'm not gonna get too much in the pros and cons. I'm just gonna explain on a basic level what they are, what they do, which one they do. So the types of peer reviews, we have the single blind peer review. So in this is the most traditional way. So the identity of the author is hidden from the reviewers, so the reviewers don't know whose articles they are evaluating. You also have the double blind review. So both the authors and the reviewers don't know who has reviewed or who has written the article. You have the triple blind peer review. So the identities of the authors and the editors handling the manuscripts are hidden from the reviewers, and vice versa. You have the open peer review, the identity of the authors and reviewers. Technology. Hello, Nika. Good evening. So you have open peer review. The identity of the authors and the reviewers are revealed, and the review comments are made public. So it's quite interesting seeing an open peer review, because you can see what the reviewer has said, or what the author has changed from the first draft of the article. You have the post-publication peer review. This is after the research is published. Yes, and the readers, researchers, and experts can provide feedback. There are some websites where you can do this, where you can make reviews after the article is already published. You have the third party peer review. So independent third party that is not internal reviewers of the journal or academic colleagues. They do the review. You have the transferable peer review. So peer reviews of manuscript are transferred from one journal to another within the same publishing group. So it is quite a lot. And the thing is, there really isn't a best in slot model for this. Different fields have converged on different defaults. So biomedical journals tend to lean more on single blind. There is some computer and some physics science that has been experimenting with a bit more open peer review or some bit hybrid models, but there isn't a definitive answer. What type would Active be? Active is, if I'm not too mistaken, I think it is open peer review. I will have to check. I'm gonna talk a bit about Active. And Active is a very good platform. Okay, so on the reviewer points. So what are the major points a reviewer can actually look for? So generally it comes out to 5 things. I have separated in 5 things. I have separated into 4 categories. There are a bit more points to consider, but those are the ones I find most important. So you have the first, that is a rigor. So the quality of the article, right? Do the specific methods actually support the conclusion being drawn? Is the sample size big enough? Are the statistics appropriate for the kind of data collected? Is the graphic good enough? It's that kind of thing, you know? Is the graphic good enough? Does the introduction provide enough background to understand the issue at hand? Are the references utilized in the right way? So all that is falls into rigor, the rigor of the article. You have the novelty. So does this genuinely add something to the discussion, or is it just reconfirmation that something was already discovered or already established, you know? Reproducibility. Is there enough specific methodological data? So exact reagents, exact statistics, exact methods, exact experimental conditions. So for any different lab in different environments, if they could control all the things that entails the experiment, could they do the same study and reach comparable results? This all falls into the reproducibility of the article. And you have the ethics as well. Specifically when you are working with some animals and humans, you have to do this because you need to have proper approvals. You have to inform consent of the people in the research. You have to see if the authors declare any financial or professional conflicts that might have shaped their conclusions, and etc. So yeah, those are the major points that I see when people are making reviews of articles. Oh yeah, there we go. The issue with publish or perish. Let's go. The thumbnail for this live stream. Okay, so this article right here, the prevalence and trends in global retraction and global retractions explored through a topic claim. So this article it brings a bit on the issue that we have seen in a couple of years before. That is, the number of retractions has increased by a lot. So this is the retractions that we have following some specific years. So we have here the annual count of retracted papers and retraction notices. So what happens? What is a retraction paper? So a retraction paper is when the paper is published, it passes through the review process, but then it needs to be taken out. It needs to be retracted because there was an issue with the article that didn't make it through the review process, and it has to be taken out. I remember one teacher gave is an informal intro to peer review by starting the class in groups, and each had to review a different environment impact report. That's a very good and very interesting. What do I say? I don't know what is the term for it. It's a very good exercise, you know. It's a very good thing to do in a classroom, I think. It can show you how hard it is and how can different groups reach different conclusions as well. What was the result of this? Can you remember what it was? So, yes, we had a specific peak in this is 2023. We had a specific peak with over 14,000 retractions noted being issued. So yeah, a lot of papers should have been retracted. There isn't, or at least I haven't seen the data around 2026, but well, hopefully it is decreasing and we keep the trend of less retractions or less retraction notices. But that could also be due to the lack of data. Yeah. And even then, that is far too many retractions. More than 4,000 retractions per year is a lot. So, and also the major attribution to those retraction papers. Can you try to guess? It was AI. It was fraudulent peer reviews with the retraction notices. Some highlighted the concern that the peer review process had been compromised as well. So you can imagine, with this number of articles, and you have to also consider that 500,000 articles, or 500k articles, that need to pass to reviewers, and then the reviewers the review process is being compromised. So yeah, you can imagine how big of an issue it is. We also have the systematic manipulation of the publication and the peer review process is another thing is another one of them noticed for retraction. And also, yeah, in the 2024, there was some of the beginning of the AI generated in articles. Hopefully, well, I haven't seen much more of that, so hopefully it has been taken down. My group is reviewing a port for natural gas transport pipes that would cross the forest. The authors gave a detailed description of impact on land, but almost nothing for underwater impacts. Ooh, that's interesting. So your group asked about that in the review. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a very interesting exercise to do in a... Was it a graduation? Yes. So in the 2023, 2024, you had the AI generated content as well. So the retraction notice were citing like saturated phrases, non-standard phrases generated by LLM. So a large language model. It was in bachelor's. Ooh, nice. Question it why they basically ignored it. Huh, you were harsh. You were harsh reviewers. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. The thing about reviewing is that I mean, you don't need to be the most harsh person ever that existed, right? Because, well, you're just gonna generate more conflict. But you also can like you can't let them go off. You can't let it go off easy, you know, because the authors are making something, are trying to contribute to science, or at least they should be. So whenever you are too soft, it can lead to issues as well. So the fair point is you don't want to be too harsh, but you don't want to be too soft as well. People have to learn. Yeah. Yep, but the thing that impacts a bit on this whole idea of publish or perish as well, that you have to publish, So this brings a bit on that topic with the quantity focused more than the quality focused articles. That the researchers need to write and share papers and to keep their jobs and basically try to get a promotion. But yeah, it also affects that the researchers would be looking more to the quantity over quality. And side note, there is also a game on Steam called Publish or Perish. I think this... Oh, it's quite interesting as well. I found it quite funny. Let me see if I can take this and show it a little bit. I believe if I do... like... this, maybe? Okay, 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Huh. It's interesting. It's an interesting game. So you have to launch papers into into persons, into zombies, kinda. Like dissemination too. Invest in schemes. Trauma. The trauma being. Increase your metrics. Boost referencing, boost language. Publish and perish. Yeah, that's it. Everyone to see the reviews for the game. Well, it is positives. It was launched in... It was released in 2024. Let's see. 91% are positive. Well, it's obviously an indie game, but it is fun nonetheless. But what do people say? I don't know exactly what people say, but it is positive in general. Okay, yeah. Let me show it. Fun game, work great on Steam Deck, good humor, full mechanics, stats, encounter bug. There we go. 10 out of 10. Enjoying relieving my many academic traumas. Yeah. Haven't got some before yet, but it's very fun, survival-like. Good visual design. Yeah, it's very Vampire Survivor-like. Good design, good music, good jokes. Good jokes that can only be born of those suffering. Yeah, a lot of it is like people recommending as well. Seems like a good game. Maybe someday I will play. Maybe. Okay. Getting back to the to the presentation. Oh yeah, we also have the bigger issue on AI, right? So on the AI kind of situation, major publishers like Elsevier, Springer Nature, etc., many others as well, they have policies on restriction or requiring the disclosure of AI tools. So the major consensus is that the AI can be of help if used as a tool, and I rather look at AI this way. AI is a tool; it's not a result. So you can use it, but you have to specify that you have been using AI as well. You know, I don't think it's a detriment on using AI, but the use of AI needs to be spoken about. My article wouldn't even pass the odd number list, let alone peer review. Okay, I understood. I get the joke. You know. So yeah, so the major thing is that the AI needs to be used and worked out responsibly. Right? What the hell? You know. Yeah, and also on the reviewer side, if the reviewers are actually using AI as well. I wasn't supposed to be a link. JPEG. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there also is some independent researchers that use AI tools to help on analyzing and making reviews as well. Okay. Yeah, there is this case for using AI to assist peer reviewing because the review shortage, because there just isn't enough people to review all the articles we are mass producing per year. So there is a shortage, there is the fatigue, and also it's a voluntary job, so not everyone wants to do it. It's about an famous AI generated diagram about murine anatomy. Oh, okay, I see. I know what you're talking about. Yes. I don't know why people keep using AI for images. Like, I think it's a bit better now for what people are using. But again, it is so obvious that you can see it was made from AI. There are those in neuroscience. I've seen this a lot. On neuroscience, where you have the images of the brain and analyzing different parts of the brain, and then the AI just makes a mesh out of it and makes no sense at all. So this is the case of using AI as a result, and you get a horrible end result. If you use the AI to try and what could you use AI generative AI on neuroscience? There must be some case scenarios for that. If AI had this during my college years, I would have been too stupid and too honest to use it in my work. Yes. Oh, well, the release of AI, so like things like ChatGPT and I believe, yeah, it was mostly ChatGPT. I was in college. I was in my final years of college when ChatGPT launched. And it was beginning, it already was beginning as an issue. Because there were obvious people, there were like people that were obviously using it for like, for exams, for work projects, you know. It was so obvious, like the person didn't have to do that, but yeah, the person preferred to be lazy, and that is the issue with the reviewers as well. If the reviewers are lazy, they have fatigue, they are gaining nothing with it, so why bother, right? Just put it on an AI and let the AI do the review for me. So yeah, then you have a problem, because the AI tool can help, surely, but if you have a review made fully with AI, you are missing the point of a review. That is the engagement from an actual human expert to review the system, review what is going on, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, with an expert mind, not with like some AI slop that make connections without any sense. I learned remote sensing techniques in college, and about 15 years later, I found they're now using to analyze satellite images. Oh, yes. Well, okay. I'm gonna say my point. I'm not the using AI. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I cannot be too harsh on AI specifically because of my field. I work in assisted human reproduction. There are many AI interactions that are very, very good for that. Medical field as well, where you have tons and tons of stuff that use AI and that are helping. So I cannot be too harsh, but on the side of the generative AI. Yes, exactly. There is a difference between analytic and generative. Yes, yes. So the thing about the generative AI. Generative AI can be used. I think there is certain justification for it. For example, if you have no idea whatsoever what you're going to do. So imagine this: you're a grad student. You are ending the grad thing, or you are thinking about entering a master's degree or a doctor's degree. Example: you have no idea what the hell you're gonna do. You can ask AI for that. So you ask many AIs: ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini, whatever. You ask them for suggestions, right? So you can ask suggestions. You can ask the AI to provide you the links for where did it came from this idea. And then you can take that idea. So you are using it as a tool to get ideas. And you take those ideas and you form your own article. You form your own thesis about it. So this is a form that you use AI as a tool, but not as a result. You know, you are going to make the research. The AI isn't going to make the research. The AI is just going to give you a starting point, maybe. So this is the case I can kind of defend, you know. So I won't be too harsh on people if they do that. I will be that is a valid use against power. Exactly. I will judge harshly if people are like, oh, I don't know what to do. I need a thesis. I need a grad project. Please, ChatGPT, Cloud, make me a project with 30 pages. No, please don't do that. Please don't do that. This is gonna be a very ugly thing, and you are going to be a huge mark on your back that you were using AI for that. So yeah, it's a lot about responsibility and knowing how to use a tool, you know. Yes. So, to give a man a fish, teach him how to teach him how to fish. Give him the tools. Give him the pole, fishing pole. Wait, how do you say it? It's fishing pole. Oh, I don't know how to say vara de pesca é assim. Okay, so how are the scientists resolving all the issues with the reviewing process as well? So, I mean, he needs to be fed with at least one fish to be able to learn. Do he? I don't know about that. Well, you need to see if you like it, right? If you like fish, yes. If you don't like fish, how are you going to fish? If you don't like fish. Okay, yeah, you have a valid point. Okay, so there are some points trying to be made to solve a bit of all the issues with peer reviewing. We have the preprints. So preprints is the thing that persons and authors can share the findings in a public before a formal review, and this is the case of arXiv. If you don't know what arXiv is, this is an arXiv. arXiv is mostly used on physics. Yeah, physics, mathematics, computer science. It's mostly on physics. So what this is a ePrint. This is an imprint. So early prints, they are not reviewed yet, and then you can see a research or an article or publication before it gets to the peer review process. There are a lot of good researches on here, but you have to take a little bit of care because it is exactly that. They are not peer reviewed yet, so you need to have a little bit more of discernment on what is good, what is not that good. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I almost showed my entire notes. Okay. Let me go back. You need to not be too hungry that your brain stops working. Okay, makes sense. In this fishing story, I'm eating the worm. I am the worm. That's it. That's my that's my contribution to this. Okay. And also, in the COVID area, in the pandemic, when we were going through the pandemic of COVID-19, we also had many preprints being released because it was way faster. So there's also this issue with the peer reviewing, the time it takes for that. So yeah. Would you still love us if we were worms? Absolutely. Would I use you to get fish? Maybe? Maybe if the fish were good, would you accept being used as a worm? What? That's a very that's one of the questions ever made, I believe. I don't know if that's a very good question. Well, you are being used to get the good fish, at least. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that question came to mind. Okay, so continue. We also have the register reports. This is where a journal sends to the peer reviewers, and the peer reviewers they accept the study's methodology and analysis before the results. So the results aren't known for the reviewers. They have the methods, they have the abstract, they have the beginning of the article, but they don't have the results and probably don't even have the discussion. We also have the open peer review, which we already touched a bit on. And you also have the post-publication review. So this is the post-publication review. This is also another website that I want to introduce. That is PubPeer. That you can see and you can review papers after the release. So let me see if I can get this as well. There we go. So this is the PubPeer Foundation. PubPeer Foundation is a California registered public benefit corporation with non-profits in the United States. The overarching goal of the foundation is to improve the quality of scientific research by enabling innovative approaches for community interaction. The bylaws of the foundation establish pubpeer.com as a service run for the benefits of its readers and commenters who create its content. Current focus is maintaining and develop the PubPeer online platform for post-publication peer review. So when you go to the PubPeer, you have a lot of articles that have been already released, and people can comment on it. So you have like this: 5 comments, 3 comments. This has a preprint as well. So you have comments, and people can comment on those articles and make reviews on them. There are other platforms like the PubPeer, but it's just one of the examples that I want to give. Interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting platform. I'm gonna have them both linked in the YouTube VOD when I post it. Yes. And also, we have to mention, none of those are a guarantee to solve everything, because, you know, they all have their flaws. But there are some extra layers that can help the peer review situation, because we have, again, like I said, We have many articles per year, and not enough people to review them. Yep, that was it. That was it for peer review. Thanks very much for watching, and don't let the publish or perish idea get to you. Don't publish to perish. Just publish at your own time, if you can. Where is it? Oh. So, yep, that's it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Share it. It really helps the channel keep making science content like this. It was a pleasure sharing this knowledge with all of you. Scientific hugs from the Doctor, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay. Oh. Professor, for the presentation, Simon, can we work on peer of 3? Well, you have to have a large number of people to peer review. Yes, pretty please. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna end the transmission on YouTube. Ending the transmission on YouTube. Okay, there we go.